activists are urging President Biden to pardon all federal cannabis crimes, and New Jersey is tackling drug policy reform in its own unique way. This is Lo with Veriheal, keeping you up to date with the latest in cannabis news. California legalized recreational cannabis use 5 years ago, but the state still has a bustling multi-billion illicit market. State Senator Nancy Skinner has proposed legislation to help combat the issue by expanding access to resources for city governments that don't have the bandwidth to oversee the legal market. The bill would allow cities to access resources that could help manage bureaucratic functions such as obtaining business licenses. The hope is that by helping cities and counties with keeping on top of regulations, it will help bolster the state's legal market and revenue while eventually eradicating the illicit market. Next in news, questions are beginning to mount for the Biden administration and its sluggish speed toward cannabis reform. COVID mitigation is obviously at the forefront of everyone's focus over on the Hill, but many are wondering when Biden and his team are going to hold true to their promise to prioritize criminal justice reform. Cannabis advocacy group NORML wrote a letter to President Biden urging that he demonstrate his commitment to criminal justice reform by immediately issuing a general pardon to all federal nonviolent cannabis offenders in the U.S., and that cannabis prohibition ruins lives, wastes resources, and is opposed by a large majority of Americans. Activists seem to understand the delay as the country faces other escalating issues, but they don't want the administration to lose sight of what they had promised originally. Historically, Biden has been a major voice behind the war on drugs and has flip-flopped on his stance on cannabis. So, many remain speculative, and rightfully so. And lastly, New Jersey has lowered the penalties for psilocybin possession. Do note that this does not mean that magic mushrooms have been decriminalized. Previously, possession of up to an ounce would land you 3 to 5 years in prison. Now, instead of a third-degree felony, the punishment has been reduced to a disorderly offense with up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. While this seems like a great step in the right direction, New Jersey is still dragging its feet when it comes to cannabis reform. Voters approved cannabis legalization in November, but a series of technicalities in the bill have barred it from happening. This has left the state currently confused on what's allowed and what's prohibited. But hey, at least you won't get into that much trouble for having magic mushrooms. So go ahead and like this video and give us a follow at Veriheal to stay up to date with the latest in cannabis news. Thanks for watching.